Good evening. Welcome to Face Show, Mujit. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m., we are with a change maker. Leena, uh, I think there was some technical issue. There was some buffering in the beginning. So I once again welcome Leena Kejriwal in today's show. And before we start our conversation or chat or we gain knowledge, yeah, thanks, knowledge about Leena Kejriwal, her work, we would like to see one audio visual on Leena's work.
Are you all my personal greetings?
Thank you so much.
Definite, I'm definite that this beautiful audio visual has reminded you so many moments of joy, isn't it, Leena?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for that.
Yes. Now we'll start our show with some customary questions, and Leena will be chatting with us. Basically, Leena is a photographer and installation artist, and you had been a brand ambassador for Fuji India and an artist in residence in France during 2006 2007. Your seminal work, Calcutta Repossessing the City, launched as a book, was published in 2007, has been a bestseller. So, uh, I would like to know how you conceptualized this thing and how the book came. What were the basic ideas before photographing the moments and bringing it as a book, Lena?
Thank you, first of all, Samrijita, for calling me on this show. But the very fact that you call me a change maker is very humbling. And I really hope that the work we do can really create some larger change in society, which we are really setting out to do. And every audience and every platform we get to speak is actually helps me lend a voice to the missing girls. So I'm really happy to be here today. Regarding my photography, how it started, what makes me take a picture, I think it's a larger journey. So everybody can be a photographer today, right? Everybody has a camera, everybody has a phone, which is good enough to take good pictures. But I think what really moved me, because everybody has their own journey, is that a deep burning desire to say something more with your pictures, other than just taking a beautiful picture. It has to be something about, for me, what really moved me was the city, the socio, the political, the economical. What makes a person sitting on the side of the road sit there, and the narrative behind it. And I've had amazing feedback. I've got critics tell me, like, actually, they can read my pictures. My pictures are like stories. That's the most beautiful thing I could have been told, because for me, that's really important. And when I had these exhibitions of my images of Calcutta, it's at one such exhibition that I met my publisher, who who then went on to publish my books in a collective called Calcutta Repossessing the City. The title was given by Professor Tapati Guha Thakurta, because though Calcutta had been photographed a lot in black and white, I chose to photograph it in color. Because for me, my city was vibrant, it was color, it was so much of beauty. I couldn't see Calcutta as a black and white city. And I photographed it in color, and we were still from the analog days. We used to shoot in negatives. And we used to run back and not know what's going to come in my negative, and that kind of thing. So for me, that's what makes my image. And that's what moves me enough to take an image.
Right. So, how you went to France and was it any collaborative project?
Yes. I've been really blessed where people have really appreciated my work, and so I was showing my works at a still life series at the Oxford bookstore, which Meena Bhagat took up really beautifully. I just shared some images with her, and she says, "Leena, it's fabulous. Let's do a show in Oxford bookstore." I set up a whole show there called A Life of Its Own, and I even created a little installation with a kettle, like a chai ghar, and with the first of its kind moving image, finesse-scope, where if you move an image at say 12 frames per second, it's like you can actually catch the moving image. So I had a very distinguished gentleman who knew how to create these contraptions. He created it for me, Mahesh Ji, if I'm not mistaken, and we put that up there. But I think we got some amazing people from the French embassy or the French consulate who came and who happened to see my works there. And literally, he came and he was knocking on my door, and he says, "I want you to apply for the artist in residence to go to France." And that's how I applied, and I managed to reach France with my camera.
Fantastic. So your destiny took you there, France, and to do this fantastic project.
Yes, it was really lovely. Like I did know a bit of French, and
Oh, what's that? So can you express your feeling slightly?
so I reached France, and I have no idea what I'm going to do because the Parisians and French are very closed up about cameras. You can't really take pictures on the streets, not like in India, where especially foreigners come. Everybody opens their heart out and they smile and they pose for them. Indians are very loving and they're very open. That's not what all communities are like. But we've had so many foreigners who've come and taken pictures of our community, our cities, our people, and we've embraced them. So when I walk the streets of France, and I did get sometimes some people telling me off. I said, "So what? So many French photographers come and take pictures of all our people in India, and we let them take it. So let me just do my job." I think at some point we have to be a little sassy, because if we are a little too goody two shoes, we might not get anywhere. And we have to take a leap. We have to assert ourselves where you are able to. And of course, where it's sensitive, we have to be sensitive also. So we have to move ourselves away. So in fact, another thing what happened in France was I'm a vegetarian. So I had this list which was given to me as a list of best vegetarian restaurants in France. So in my quest to find vegetarian food, I happened to reach very, very unique different places all around Paris. So I reached the Jewish Quarter in search of falafels. I reached some Chinese area in search of vegetarian Chinese. And so that gave me a real good exposure to really different communities and spaces and atmospheres, which I then catalogued in the whole series which I did on France.
Beautiful. So I find that photography and art, they became constant components in your life, and each of the components married each other, and you created some fantastic moments in your life, some projects, some photographs, some art installations. How it became constant in your life, these two components?
So I think, Soumyajit, we all find a purpose in life. So I'm a Marwari. I've been born and brought up to be a good Marwari daughter, a good Marwari wife, a good mother. I played all those roles. But at some point, everybody doesn't receive the full contentment and fulfillment which one expects to receive in this space. And I was always a creative person. Like for me, art and creativity were like just mere zehen mein. Like even if I'm laying a table, it would be creative. So I had already done I was already a photographer before I got married. Like I had photography as my basic knowledge at my side, which I then picked up my camera when my children were born, and I started pursuing just amateur photography. In fact, a very good close family friend, she was a writer. Her book, Kali Katha Via Bypass, won the Sahitya Academy Award. But her novel was really nice. And when she came to know that I'm an amateur photographer, she said, "Leena, can you help me to the cover of my book?" I went gladly. I said, "Wow, what an opportunity." Put on my Nikes with her early morning. We were walking the streets of Calcutta. So that was my first experience of walking in Calcutta and taking pictures. And her image and her book was talking about Marwari diaspora and feeling about how Marwaris came came to Calcutta, the different areas they had worked in, Bara Bazaar, be it the ghats, be it, there was a very important anecdote of printed ghat. So we went and clicked all these images, and one of my images became the cover of her book. And she got so many people tell her that the cover of your book brought your book alive. So I was really happy with that. But that also gave me the confidence to say, hey, I should just go ahead and just do what I feel with my camera.
Really, opportunity comes once, and you have grabbed the opportunity, you have utilized the opportunity, and you have taken it to a different height. You are really blessed. And I think, I think you were residing in the North Calcutta.
Yes, so I was born and brought up. Of course, I went to boarding. I mean, that also makes it a very interesting thing. When you see a place again from an outsider's eyes, is when you see new things. So, though I was born in Calcutta, I spent all my early years in Jaipur in a boarding school, Maharani Gayatri Devi, and those years, of course, also shaped me in their own ways. So, when I come back to Calcutta to Loreto College, I hate it first. I hate all its. Delhi was already so much far ahead than Calcutta. But slowly you start seeing different parts of your city and different facets of it. And I had an elderly British couple who were family friends who had come and stayed with us, played a very large role in me suddenly looking at Calcutta with new eyes. So I saw the whole British history in Calcutta from their eyes. I started exploring Calcutta in a different way, and they really helped me really understand the nuances of my city much more.
But I think during this photography and art installation, one particular red light area in North Calcutta that influenced your mental makeup.
I think it's that, Soumyajit, because though our house was on the main road of Sonagachi and we'd been there and we knew about it, I never really realized that I was so sensitive to the issue till I didn't really walk back into a red light district in, say, 2000, in the year 2000, when I went to Kalighat for the first time. And it was a moment which didn't leave me. And I really started, I photographed lots of images in that area. And in fact, the cover of my book is of one of the images of Kalighat with the red walls. And it became a very, very huge topic of my subject in my artworks after that. And I created really intense, multi-layered, complicated installations, trying to depict all my emotions, which used to burgeon, when I used to think about that space. But over the years, these installations started happening in 2010 onwards, and they traveled across the world. I first set up a 2-story show at Birla Academy. Jayashree Mohtaji was very kind enough. She sponsored the whole show. It was a 2-story show. It was called E-City. And then it went on to Delhi to become Entropic Sites. Because though we were talking Calcutta, eventually it could be any city in the world where you were talking about the abuse. And in Delhi, then from Delhi we went to Azad Gallery, Tehran. In Iran, that they don't even believe that trafficking or prostitution exists. So we called the show, I Saw That Which Remained Unseen. That's the title of our show in Iran. And then it went from there to Berlin, to Amsterdam, and it was really having a run in Europe. And that's when I realized that I really wanted to share my thoughts and feelings with Indians and with the public, and I didn't want it to be in gallery spaces, that I created the missing public art. I wanted to know what makes a powerful public art. I went and kind of did a study on it. And from all that mental exercise of really distilling and really fine-tuning my whole thoughts, this form of the missing girl silhouette was born, which you just showed, the screen which you just showed before this. It's actually like black holes. They are cut out into the sky, into which millions of girls disappear from the face of the earth. That's the visual metaphor of disappearance. And that was launched at the India Art Fair.
Right. You have been working with your dreams. And I think, what was your initial dreams and how the dreams are getting the proper direction?
They take their own turns, twists and turns, Soumyajit. One never knows what's going to happen. So though I do a residency, I come back and I start thinking what I want to do, and I create the form. And I had my 2 curators who were with me on my brainstorming sessions, and both of them said brilliant. So I knew I had hit the right note. So then I approached a patron of art, Sangeeta Jindal from she'd always appreciated my work. She's somebody who, artists are very shy about sharing their works because they know they'd hate their work to be trashed. So she was always very appreciative of my work. So I felt confident enough to share what I'd made with her. She loved it. She's the one who actually launched it at the India Art Fair. And then from there, we weren't able to really get the permissions for public art spaces. So though I had reached this pinnacle of launch and UK Guardian telling me in missing looms over the India Art Fair, I was again literally at a standstill after that. So you're talking about journeys. I had no clue at that point of time what I'm going to do next with my missing project. So this was 2014 February, and I'm clueless after having that great launch. Ki ab kya hoga? And the whole year we kind of I was still working in the NGO, so all my time was spent in Hamari Muskan, where I used to go with Bahu Bazaar. I was mentoring my girls. So the issue was not just an issue which I was using for my art. I was actually doing groundwork with it. I wanted to do more in the physical space, not just talk about in the art space, and that continued. I made a short film for the Yes Foundation Changemaker competition, which was, of course, one of the shortlisted one. And there I saw a very amazing play. I saw the power of social media. At the Yes Foundation Changemaker, where I was one of the shortlisted nominated films, I saw that they said they reached 50,000 people, of which 17,000 entries, of which 20 shortlisted. I said, wow. I mean, social media can do this. What's stopping me? My whole aim was public engagement. Why did I do the public art? For public engagement. Nothing else. So I said, when I really want public engagement, what's stopping me to change my route? So I started a whole social media campaign to make a community, make an army of followers of the missing girls, make a community for the missing girls.
Right. Missing girls.
Yes.
Our team is working fantastic.
See that we have really good research here. Yes.
Yeah, I had no clue what is going to happen, like you only. So now we have come to the point. We have been discussing how you started your journey, missing girls, and of course you had a lot of research on it, and you belong to this city only, Kolkata. And what is the scenario of National Crime Bureau records? What is the position? How people? What would be the numbers? People come into prostitution either through question or like that, and what is the age group generally they are being taken into this profession? If you can enlighten us on this thing.
So the NCRB data is a little outdated, and for whatever reasons they are, I don't think they are at fault at some point, and some states get better stats, some states don't. So
they don't send also. The states don't send also.
And it's very difficult to map it in the right way because some of them get registered. So many don't get registered. So it's very difficult to even say it. What we do know is that the daily rate is like 600 women get trafficked and 128 children get trafficked every day in India. The average age of a child getting trafficked is also dropping. There is more demand for young girls now. And that's something which we really want to tackle in a big way and to create awareness around it. And so the average age earlier might have been 15 or 16, it went down to 14, and now it's down to 11 years old. So, and because we've also seen girls as young as 7 get trafficked and raped, right? We all know about those cases. Katwa was 8 years old, right? There are so many cases of young girls getting raped and abused. So the average age we could take today is 11 or 12 years old of girls getting. And it's very sad.
Yeah, extremely sad. And during this lockdown pandemic, what was the situation? Was it, good?
No, it's really bad. Child sexual abuse material from India has increased according to US stats. Yes, there's been a great increase of child sexual abuse material coming out of India. A 95% hike, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really bad at my stats. I usually have a team member telling me my stats. And cyber safety has really gone for a toss to the point where the government has also been trying to really make it a part of, the CBSE board. The NEP, the new education policy, also in its own way mentions adolescent education in its own camouflaged manner as the importance of it. Because today, what's happening is with social media. Today, if we don't address adolescent sexuality, we won't be really able to address the issue. I know parents don't want to think that their children are sexual or have any sexual urges, which is really, really a deterrent in this space. It's very important to accept things and then to create awareness and to move ahead in a very process-driven manner so that we can really keep our children safe. And so it's really important, the role of caregivers and parents, because nobody wants to talk about sex education. We are talking about adolescent education in their own camouflaged manner, which is okay. Any which way, we have to do it. We need really parents to talk about cybersecurity, because a lot of parents say, I don't know the social space, I don't know social media, I don't know how it works, I'm very digitally challenged. But it doesn't work that way today. A digital space has to be something which everybody has to know. Especially if you're a parent, you have to up your act. So today, that's what we are doing. Like I was telling you, we have been, under COVID, we have been developing a school program. Because though the missing program, like now, to tell you a little bit about our history, so it started with me as an artist creating a missing public art project. But I did a crowdfunding, like with my social media, and I started a trust. So all our work is done under the aegis of the Missing Link Trust. And since then, we have actually collaborated with the Women and Child Welfare Ministry to do a systematic awareness in West Bengal. But since then, we have moved across India. We have collaborated with organizations who have reached with adolescents, children, so that we can create an awareness, a 101. We have so far reached about 135,000 students till, I would say, Feb 2020. Of course, after that, we weren't able to do any of our ground projects. We have been doing projects online, and we have been developing a whole module so that we can reach children on their laptops, because today, it's not just about trafficking being rural to urban. If you're poor, you will get trafficked. Today, children can get trafficked on their laptops. Children can get trafficked in their rooms. So it's so important for parents to know that though you might think your child is at home, in their room, they are safe. It doesn't end there. No. It's very important to create a systematic awareness of how to keep your child safe in the online space. And that's what we've been creating.
Right. So we were thinking that on the ground, if we can protect ourselves, now another area we have to guard ourselves, that is a cyber area.
Totally. I say putting your child out in the social media or in the digital space is as putting your child out in a 6-point crossing with all trucks and everything coming and not having taught them how to cross a road. So it's that busy.
You already referred that our curriculum doesn't take care of all these issues. So there should be a radical change in this area also, and the competent authority should address these issues also, so that it is included in the curriculum. Because you cannot do everything.
I can create curriculums and I can share it with authorities who can say, and we have had the good opportunity of doing that, Soumyajit, right now I can tell you. We are still waiting for people to take it up. Hopefully they will. And because our main aim has to make a curriculum which is very attractive, easy to execute, because today nobody wants to burden teachers. Teachers are already super burdened with curriculum. So if they get a curriculum or a syllabus or something which is easy to get done, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for schools as well as it's a win-win for us, as well as it's a win-win for authorities. It's a win-win for everybody. So we are developing things like that, very interactive, very narrative-based, very story-based, so that people don't even realize that they are actually learning anything. Activity-based, crosswords, rings, board games, theatre. We are using the works of narratives, the whole world, a very interesting pedagogy, narrative-based pedagogy of really making children realize that they can take control of their lives and be responsible for their safety and be responsible for helping the next girl from getting trafficked.
Right. You already referred that Missing Public Art campaign under the aegis of Missing Link Trust. You are also integrating technology, I came to know. And how you're integrating the technology, we will separately discuss the gaming part. Apart from gaming, how you are integrating the technology in your project work?
Okay, so the gaming one you've already segregated. That's a huge part anyway. So at the moment,
That is
see
that
this.
that is why I have segregated, because we have very interesting components have been created there in the gaming part. That is why I have kept it reserved for discussion.
Yes. So, from the day one, Soumyajit, what happened is when I'm an artist and I want to create this huge mass change, how can I do it? So I create a public art first, so that if I put something out in a public space, you know how advertisements are used. So you have larger impressions, you have larger views, you have larger interactions. So that itself is a one way to really create that larger engagement on the issue. Then I realized that the smartphone is going to play a very powerful role in me reaching my audience, me reaching people. Because today, instead of us going knocking on each door, it's very important that we reach in their palms, in their pockets. So with that, of course, I created the game. But then, what another very interesting thing how we use technology is to have immersive dialogues. So what we did was we created this set of murals. Like Calcutta was, of course, the first place where we did these murals. We did a set of 8 murals for Durga Puja called Hunt for the Lost Durga. Now we all have seen murals. We have all seen murals, and you see it, and you go, and it's gone, and it's in one road. And if you don't go on that road, all your effort is lost. See, for me, I'm always trying to see how I can maximize my work. So if I'm going to put it on one wall in one lane, and if you've seen it, okay, you've seen it, but there's so many more who've not reached that lane, who've not reached that road. And acha dekha, acha bahut acha hai, acha khub bhalo, and then what? Key. So for me, it's always about what more can I do with it. So what I did was I was in this creative team, and I said I want to put an augmented reality app on it. Go check
Beautiful.
out all apps which are available. So now this is 2017. Augmented reality apps are still not so common. So my creative head at that time says, Leena, okay, augmented reality app is not going to be possible. Let's explore chatbots. So I said, great, anything which works. So we created a chatbot, and we did it on Messenger because we didn't want to add another app for people to download. Everybody has a Facebook Messenger on their phone. So we created a chatbot on a Messenger where you could stand in front of the mural and you could chat with it. A very immersive dialogue, which we've had people from IJM, International Justice Mission, who says this is intelligent art. Then we had, of course, the consulate generals have always been amazing supporters of my work. So the German consulate was there, Bruce Bruckner was there on my first day when I launched it, and each of them was interacting with it, and they said, "Wow, we've never seen something like this even in the West." So I've had that kind of a response on the work we've done. And then what happens is, Swamiji, the moment it comes on Messenger, now you don't really have to be in front of my mural to talk. If you have a messenger today, and if I share the link with you, you can chat with all my murals. So automatically, I'm magnifying my eyeballs to it and my interaction to it. So it works both ways. So that's one way I've used technology. The other way is, of course, we use a lot of it in our now in the school program which we are creating. We've created a dashboard so that we've created WhatsApp modules so that we're going to be able to reach children beyond the digital divide. That's a very big chunk of our audience. Dashboards, because we totally believe that today, even urban spaces, we really need, that's of course an image from my game, so that comes later. So we are talking about reaching children on their laptops, executing their program in their own space. Then of course we use I think that's two very big things. We have an interactive digital comic now, which we've just launched with International Justice Mission. It's the one of its kind. It's called Web of Deceit. It's available for everybody to read for free on Google Play Store. I would love your viewers to download that and read it. And that's just to name a few, Soumyajit.
Yeah.
These are
Fantastic. Your Jaipur education was really played havoc in your life, because you
yes.
told your Calcutta College, Loreto College, you did not like it. So I give the full credit to your Jaipur boarding, where you got time to think and to redefine your mind space. Just, I do not know whether I'm
They just left us free like free birds, So we were just enjoying life. All this was
right.
like passive learning. Yeah.
Right. So actually, you have been referring, but I think the first break you got in 2014 in Delhi Art Fair, that was the first break?
For the missing public art project.
Yeah, missing public art. That was the first break?
Yeah, that's the first time we launched it, yes.
Yes. So I think you have been using this silhouette pictures so that people get attracted, or is there any other way to tell? How did you select this?
So the silhouette is actually public artworks. They're installations. They're made of fiberglass, and they are installed. They are public art installations, like any public artworks. But I haven't yet put them out into any city yet. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for somebody to take it on. And there's another amazing layer which is ready to go onto it. But like I was saying, I spent a whole year or two in trying to get them out into public spaces. And then because it didn't happen, I've gone the other way. I'm still waiting to come back full circle to see them up in a city. So though the form of the missing girl has now been used as a guerrilla art project. The silhouette which you saw on the walls, that in fact, Calcutta has around 5,000 silhouettes all across the city. And
I think our team can once again show some silhouettes.
Yes,
already they have been showing from the background the silhouettes.
Yes,
I think
so,
yes.
So the silhouette became a guerrilla art project. So anybody who wanted to join hands with us, who wanted to give a voice to the voiceless, could take down the silhouette from our website, make the silhouette and stencil it. So it became like a very this has been done by children from Modern High School. They joined us in the project. And so these silhouettes were done all across this country, city. In fact, I think globally now we have these silhouettes across the world. And it's become an icon for the missing girls. And so that's the thing, it took a different form. It's just no more installations, it's also guerrilla art.
Right. Fantastic combination, integration. I have no words to thank to your mind, not to, how did you think? I think even during sleep, you dream that some projects are late, I have to chase. I think you are always, even during sleep, you are creative.
You got it right. Yeah, totally. I am.
Yeah. So now I will come to the separately resolved that gaming app. I think it is a Kolkata salt lake-based company. With them, you partnered and brought this beautiful gaming app.
I didn't partner. Satyajit was I didn't partner with anybody. So we crowdfunded for an app. So I had actually crowdfunded for an augmented reality app. So this was 2015, and I'm sitting on I always tell the story. I was sitting on a table full of summer interns, and I said, now we have to make this app. So everybody, I wanted to brainstorm on it. They were like, yeah, so what will an augmented reality app do? I'll say this installations will go up, because that time I was still pushing for the public art installations. I was still going to Delhi every month. I was going to Bombay every month. I was going to Guwahati, because I was getting leads. Wherever I was getting a lead with any government person, I had to go talk to them, make presentations. So I was saying, we'll do an augmented reality app, because, you scan the silhouette and the app will come alive and the girl will come alive. So what if the girl comes alive? Then what will I do? I'll say, I have no words. They say, what will make me keep the app on my phone? I'll do it once, I won't do it again. What will it lead to? So that got me thinking. I said, I can't, like I was telling you, I like to make sure that every penny I have is used to its maximum capacity. And I'd hate to see my hard-earned crowdfunded money going into an app which was not going to have its full potential. So I said, okay, let's see what we do. So meanwhile, I had started reaching out to some animators, to see the animation of the girl coming alive. So one of these animators had sent me some links of some animation styles. And one of the animation styles turned out to be for a game for change. So it was a Syrian Darfur story, and the animation style she shared. And I said, more than the animation style, what I did was I started looking at the actual content. I said, wow, there is a whole genre called games for change, which totally threw me off. And I said, yes, that's what I want to do. And I reached out to a person whom I know in the gaming space. And I said, can you connect me with anybody who can help me develop and design a game? And I was introduced to Soumyajit Chakravarti.
Flying Robot
Studios. And it's very, very, it's like, can you imagine? I'm in Alipur, he's in Hazra, 10 minutes away, he walks in, and we get on with it. It was really something which is really, I would say, very lucky.
So what is the game? People are assuming the role of a missing person?
Yes. So you play as the girl, the protagonist who's got trafficked, and you wake up in a black hole of a person. And then we are making you run for life. And the first time when he shared it with me, I still remember I was playing, my heart went thumping. And that's when I told Satyajit, okay, you've done it. If my heart can thump, that means you're on the right track. And then we progressed. And of course, the whole narrative, gameplay, there's a lot of research. He didn't know anything about trafficking. He didn't know anything about prostitution. He had never been to a red light district. I took him to all those places, make him speak to survivors, made him speak to a survivor in Kultoli, made him speak to a survivor in a red light district in Calcutta. He got a lot of insights of the space, how it works. and from that the gameplay was created. And yeah.
Fantastic. Now I will come to an area that how do you analyze the impact of all this work? What is the mechanism?
That's really interesting that you asked that. So, as an artist, I'm not somebody who's come from a social space. So, if you've done your social studies and all, you will know impact assessments, the difference between outcomes and between reach. I've learned on the go, Samajida. Every year, every day, I'm learning. And I'm learning languages. I'm learning how to, because I'm constantly pitching to corporates for CSR funds. So it's very important that we have all our figures and on our fingertips. What are we trying to say? What are we going to do? So analytics are becoming really important. So far, because in the trafficking space, any change which you do is very difficult to map. So we have mainly been outcome driven more than actually change driven. Change driven will happen. So we did take out our impact report of our work in Sundarbans from 3 years. So our impact report has narratives, stories, real stories of change. So we have been learning the language of how to really assess our impact, the impacts of the game. So now the gaming community is a very anonymous community. Nobody likes to be giving a name. So, and it's very different to really map or understand their choices. So recently we've actually added some more choices in the game, which gives us data points. So I've learned all that. Then we've actually now translated the game in 12 regional languages, which is unheard of in
Bengali.
India. Yeah, Bengali
What are
too
the
we did.
languages?
Bengali
Acha.
we did immediately after winning the NASCOM. The picture with your team show
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
won the NASCOM in the game.
Yeah. In the scrolling, we are showing how many recognitions, awards are with you.
Yeah, so we won the NASCOM within 1 month of launching the game.
2016 most probably.
Yes. And within 3 months, we got 500,000 organic downloads. Within 6 months, we got nearly 1 million organic downloads. With the money which I earned from NASCOM, I converted the game I made a Bengali translation. The Bengali translation, we were thinking, Satyajit's telling me, Leena, you must launch it. If I had known you at that time, Soumyajit, I would have taken your help in launching it. But I had no money for presses. All our money was put to hardcore work. I didn't ever spend money on PR or any publicity, which has always come our way with grace.
So your work will fetch you all the mileage.
Yeah, but what happened, suddenly this researcher in Sweden who was researching our game, he calls me up. He says, Leena, the game is going crazy in Bangladesh. And I'm like, why is it going crazy in Bangladesh, I wonder? And then we realized that Satyajit had actually launched the game, had put it online before we realized it. And Google Play Store took it up and made it one of their featured phones because it had overtaken Teen Patti and Game of Thrones and all those games in Bangladesh. It hit top of the charts in Bangladesh within 1 week of its launch in the Bengali version. So we are still waiting for the rest of the Indian languages to create that havoc in their spaces.
You have been referring crowdfunding. How is the institutional support, the government machinery in course of funding, in course of giving you other supports?
See, government, most important, what we can get from government is partnerships or approval or certification, I feel. I know there are a lot of government schemes and government grants, but we haven't had the bandwidth to really tap it. Like I was telling you, I've not come from a social space, so I've really learned on the go. For me, corporate funding has actually worked. Retail funding, like that's what they call it, because the kind of funding I get is really small, much smaller than other huge organizations. So we get CSR grants from corporates, then donations from people who believe in the work. Like under COVID, you wouldn't believe it. We had somebody who does a ride for the children. He does these bicycle rides every year, and last year, he chose to do it for the missing girls. So he had dedicated the ride. He used to usually ride from Hyderabad to Bangalore, but because of COVID, he was doing some everyday rides in Hyderabad, and he was going to dedicate every mile. So, but what was amazing is when his company realized that he was doing this and they loved what he was doing it for, the company embraced it. Then before you knew it, not just him, not just Vinay, his whole company had made teams to see who could outbid the other to do as more miles for us. Before I knew it, I had a whole group of people doing riding and crowdfunding for us. So I've had these beautiful experiences beyond CSR, beyond government funding, where funds have come our way and helped us take our work ahead. Though we've had some really good corporates also who've joined hands with us. And
You believe awareness is prevention.
awareness leads
After
to
doing, yeah. After doing a lot of hard work, this a very small award, but that is the ultimate thing, and that is why you are more concentrating on awareness.
Sorry, Soumyajit, can you please repeat that?
Now, you believe that awareness can stop girl trafficking,
Mm-hmm.
more awareness, and that is why your whole work, technology, be it on ground, be it on social media, you are day by day you are creating more buzz in awareness.
Yes.
And what is the ultimate level? How do you optimize? What is the optimization level? In sound, we have decibel level, but you're also creating buzz, so you are also expanding your buzz.
Yes. So, I mean, of course, it's about mass awareness, right? It's about as many as you can reach. Like you have anti-smoking campaigns, creating awareness on what smoking does to you. And then just like that, you have other awareness campaigns. But nobody's talking about girls trafficking. Nobody's talking about where that other girl is coming from. Nobody's talking about that girl standing on that road who you think wants to have sex, is not standing there because she wants to have sex, because she's been forced to do it. So it's really important to create that awareness, because today, I'm just talking about the issue a little bit. A red light district is one of the largest illegal spaces in a city. And a lot of people don't even know it's illegal. People don't even realize that watching porn, child pornography is illegal. It can put you behind bars. People don't realize that watching porn from certain sites is illegal. It can put you behind bars. So the fear of the law is also not there. So I feel, and we feel in this space, a lot of people who are stakeholders feel that a really integrated understanding of the role we play in the rising figures of girls getting trafficked, abused, exploited, raped is actually really important for creating a shift in these rising figures. I mean,
Right.
it comes down to that, becoming informed about your role you play in your passivity. Even if I say I don't do it, why am I a part of it? So just like that, it's like about you not protesting enough where you see it happening. You're not protesting enough when you see a friend or somebody else do it. And how it all comes back to the fact that it makes our own society very risky or very unsafe. Why is it that girls today, this is 2020, we didn't expect that even in 2020 we'd be telling our girls don't go out late at night. I think India was actually safer even a decade back than it is today. Safety levels in India, especially Delhi becoming a rape capital and all, is being a recent phenomena. So instead of it becoming safer and the world and becoming more equal, it's becoming more unsafe. So there are very big dialogues and very big understandings waiting to happen in this space for us to really shift it back and clean up our acts on that space.
Right. So, since you have been working in this project, you have pan-India presence. You even in the global circuit also. You have. So, will it be fair on your part to say which are the states mainly prone to this trafficking in the west, east, north, or south that way, or particularly any state? And what is our position in West Bengal? Which are the most vulnerable area in our state?
So West Bengal, of course, Sundarbans accounts for 44% of India's registered trafficking victims because it's very remote.
Sundarban, 44%. Okay.
West Bengal accounts for 44% of India's registered trafficking victims. That's also because and Sundarban is very high because it's remote, it's very poor, and people actually get conned by agents who are promising jobs to them. They get because it's so remote, the children are totally unaware of that they could get conned. Love, how traffickers play on all these elements, and then because from what happens when they get trafficked from there, they're taken straight to West. So the language barrier is a huge space where they are not able to really come back. They're not able to run back, come back. They don't know how to talk, who to tell. They don't know Hindi. They only know Bengali. All these factors play a very big role. So they're taken straight to GB Road, or they're taken straight to Kamatipura, or they're taken now not even that. Ghaziabad is a huge space. So they're taken to Pune. All these spaces where there's a demand for people to go and buy sex. Like I remember there was this time when Swati Maliwal, she is the women Delhi, yeah. So she said they'd gone into GB Road and there were these teenagers who were there, to buy sex. And they were like, when they were saying, what are you doing? They told them off. They saying, why? India is a free country. I can do what I want. So that's the kind of unawareness which has to be tackled, about them understanding where did she come from. And though she might look at this point after a year or two when the girls get seasoned and they have no way out, because anyway, it's very difficult for them to make a life beyond that, even after a year or two. So a lot of people get resigned and they stick to that life. And then, of course, they might say, this is what I want. And because there's no other way out. So there is a lot of things at play there, which have to be understood and unraveled.
Right. And already you told that some people come back or they are saved and they come back to normal life. How they sustain their life, and what are the areas that help? Is it culture? Is it getting engaged in work? What are the areas that help them to rehabilitate their previous mind
I
when
think
they
the
are
most
graduating?
important
Yeah,
factor which will play here is economic empowerment.
economic empowerment.
It has to be economic empowerment, because though the parents, I've seen some really, like, I'm touched by the way the mothers and the fathers in Sundarbans embrace their child, the mothers especially, and they all are like literally wait for the child to come back. But then, of course, the society doesn't let them. But what really shifts the whole thing is economic empowerment. So we have a empowerment center in Kutoli where we have been providing skill training to survivors of trafficking, domestic violence, and in alcohol abuse, child marriage, and to economically empower them so that they can have a say in their life and not get abused. And much more needs to be done in that space. We would love to collaborate in setting up more economic centers. We do skill training. We are connecting them to markets so that we can give them a regular stipend. So we are doing that. Just before the COVID, we had fulfilled an order of 1 lakh of bags in a year. Our ladies had started receiving up to 5,000 per month. But we still have to be working hard on the next leg now.
Very good. And already we have chatted for nearly 55 minutes, and you have done wonderful work in this space, and you got recognition, awards. We have been constantly scrolling during the show, and it all came, be it in photography, be it in art installations to arrest trafficking. This is the last one, I think, World Summit Awards Jury March 2020. And there are several other awards, this NASCOM Gaming Award, other recognitions. So in periodic interval, when you used to get awards or recognition, how it motivated you and your team?
You won't believe it, they play as great motivators, because these awards really tell us that what we are doing is good and that this work is needed, and gives us more strength to continue doing it, and that our language is right, the work is right, and we are adding more, we are adding to this space, and people can benefit from our work. In fact, the last one more award I can tell you today is we've been shortlisted for the Thomson Reuters campaign award for anti-slavery. So that's something which has just been, we just got to know. So we have been nominated for that. That I feel is huge, and we really thank for organizations like Thomson Reuters for the work on slavery, and to be recognized from them, it's really heartwarming.
So one very good news Leena just shared with us during the show, and of course we are constantly beaming, and you also know that Leena Kejriwal, a voice of missing girls, and this is. I do not know whether exactly it was her dream or not, but with the passage of time, with more efforts came, with more education, more maturity, ultimately Leena got turned into a voice of missing girls. So a voice of missing girls, Leena Kejriwal will tell us the future roadmap, what she wants to do.
We want to roll out a very systematic school program, which we are developing. It should be something where every child has to do it, because I think that will really bring a behavioral shift, which is what we are looking at. A kind of understanding about the roles we play as a community, as a population, on making sure that every child is safe. I think that should something which we all should take up as an agenda for each one of us, and if we all can consciously do it. So that's something which I really want to make sure that we roll out soon. Our curriculum is ready. We are ready to roll out. We're going to do it soon. And a systematic program, I think, is really essential. And then, I mean, I would love to create more artwork and more public engagements on my end, on the side. And of course, really make the ladies of Sundarban so empowered that they can really say, don't mess with us.
Right.
So the three legs of our work, I want to really make them strong.
Right. It's really great to know all these things. And the last question of the show. We have been listening some sort of dissatisfaction, some sort of failures. So what was the greatest failure during this project and what was the most dissatisfying moment during this project?
Wow, that's something which I'm... Soumyajit, actually what makes me what I am is I'm a very positive person. I don't even remember what is the most dissatisfying.
Okay. Let it go. So this show is...
for all what I receive. I'm very thankful for all what I receive. I don't even think about what I don't receive because I feel there's so much which I've received that I'd like to concentrate on what I have.
Fantastic. We are happy. Our viewers are happy. And with that, our talk will come to an end with a missing girl, this voice of missing girl, Leena Kejriwal. And definitely, we want more stakeholders in her mission, which became her passion also. And more people will be joining this mission, this movement. One day, ideally, I do not know whether it will happen or not, but she will be crusader in the field of girl trafficking and it will be stopped. Hypothetically, let us assume. And with that, thank you very much, Leena, for coming here and chatting with face-to-face Soumyajit show and with me. I'm extremely grateful to you. Thank you so very much. And with that, signing off from face-to-face Soumyajit. Tune us for next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for the next Changemakers show. Thank you very much. Good night, Leena, to our viewers.
Thank you.